Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Morrow, and I'm here to teach you guys about figurative language, okay? How many of you guys know what figurative language is? Okay, I see a couple hands. Okay, cool. Well, my goal after today is hopefully to have you guys all knowing not only what figurative language is, but how to use it in your writing and in your reading. So hopefully you guys after today will have some improved literary skills and writing skills. Okay? So figurative language. Figurative language is figuring it out, okay? So the first step to understanding what figurative language is to first understand literal language. And literal language is our everyday conversations, just a very direct way of saying things so that people understand it, okay? So first example. Well, first I gotta give the definition, sorry. Literal language is literally. Think literally when you think of literal language. It's words that function exactly as they're defined. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's exactly how it's said, okay? So I'm going to give you some examples so you guys can kind of hit this one home. The car is blue. That is a literal example and a very literal description. The car is blue. Can the car be purple? No. Can the car be yellow? No. The car is blue. It's important. This is a literal description. You see, these words are functioning exactly as they have been defined. He caught football. He didn't score. He didn't carry it. He didn't run it. He caught the football. Exactly how it's being said. He caught the football. There's no wiggle room right there, okay? That's literal, all right? Now, figuratively, figure out what it means. So this is where the wiggle room comes in. This is where it can get a little confusing, but I'm hopefully going to help you guys to the point where it's not confusing, all right? So think literal is literally, and then figurative is figuratively. So figure out what it means. All right, here's an example. I've got your back. Now, if you look at this picture right here, it's a man that's holding, well, a stick figure that's holding his friend's back, saying, I got your back. Now, would that be figurative? No, because that would be literal if he literally took his back. But considering the fact that we're humans and the only way someone's taking your back is if it's maybe surgery, this is a figure of speech. So it's figuratively speaking. So now we have to figure out what it means, okay? So I've got your back, meaning you are my friend. I care about you, okay? I've got your back. If you need my help, I will be there to assist you, all right? So you see how I figured out what that meant? That's how we're going to use this figurative language, all right? Another example. You're a doll. Now, does that literally mean that you're a doll that I can buy you at a store? No. It's describing your personality having doll-like characteristics, meaning you're very cute, you're very beautiful, you're very nice, sweet. Okay? You're a doll. All right? It's another figure of speech. It's figurative language. You see? Figures of speech. Said it before I even finished. Okay. Now on to some actual examples so you guys will be able to better interpret your reading and writing assignments. Our first example of figurative language is assembly. Some of you guys have probably encountered this in some of your past educational ventures. Okay? Assembly is a comparison of two things using like or as. So think of it. It's a comparison of two different things using like or as, all right? It must be a comparison of two different things. So you can't say, she is as candy as candy. Does that make any sense? No. It has to be a comparison of two different things, all right? So I'll give you guys an example. The metal twisted like a ribbon. All right? Now think of a ribbon being twisted, maybe into a bow in your hair. It's twisted like a ribbon. See, now the metal is being twisted, and it's being described to have twisted like a ribbon. Did it literally mean that the metal twisted like a ribbon? No. But it's a very good sentence that is describing the way that the metal was bent or contorted, okay? Another example. She is as sweet as candy. You see, the word as is used in here, describing her being as sweet as candy. Can you literally bite into her? Does she literally taste very sweet? No, it's describing her personality as being very sweet, like all this candy over here, okay? Those are similes. Remember, a comparison of two things, two different things, using the word like or as. So, the metal twisted like a ribbon, or she is as sweet as candy, okay? All right, now we're going to move on. We're going to come back to that. This is very important about similes. Don't forget this. Using like or as does not make something a simile, all right? I'm going to give you an example of that. A comparison must be made in order for it to be a simile. So it has to be a comparison, that's one. Has to be a comparison of two different things, that's two. And it has to use the words like or as, all right? That's three. Those are the three golden rules of similes. Not a simile. I like pizza. You see? It has the word like in there. But where is the comparison? I like pizza. It's a literal statement. It's just literally saying, I like pizza. Okay, that's not a simile. But a simile could be, the moon is like a pizza. So saying, the craters in the moon are maybe like the craters that you see on a piece of pizza with the sausage and the pepperoni and the different bell peppers, whatever you guys like on the pizza, okay? The next one is a metaphor. A metaphor is also a comparison of two different things, but it's without the use of like or as, okay? Don't get similes and metaphors confused. Similes use like or as. Metaphors do not use like or as. They're both comparisons. Simile uses like or as. Metaphors do not use them. Some examples of a metaphor would be, the entire world is a stage. Okay? You see? The world is being compared to a stage. All right? But there is no use of like or as. So that makes it a metaphor and not a simile. Another example would be, men are dogs. Can men literally be dogs? Are we down on all fours? Are we crawling around? No, we're not. Okay? We're humans. Dogs are still dogs. But someone is comparing us to dogs maybe on how we act very nasty. I mean, I'm not nasty. You know, I like to consider myself a pretty clean person. But this is a comparison. This is the use of figurative language, okay? This strengthens the validity or like the value of a sentence that you may have. So you can say, men are nasty, but why not say men are dogs, comparing them to nasty dogs, okay? All right? So you can use metaphors, similes, and some of the other tools we're going to discuss, all right? Another example. She will never get married. Her heart is stone. So the comparison is between her heart and stone. Her heart is not literally stone, or she wouldn't be alive. You need that heart to pump that blood and stuff, but they're saying that she will never get married because her heart is stone. It's cold, it's hard, like a rock, like a stone, you see? Okay, those are metaphors. We'll come back to that also. The next one is personification. And before I go into the definitions behind personification, observe this photo. It's a man, or is it a dog? It's a dog's body, but sitting upright, postured like a man with a camera bag, a watch on, shorts, tennis shoes. You know, I don't know what it is exactly. All All right, now into personification. Personification is giving human traits to objects or ideas, okay? So now can you kind of see where that comes from? You're giving human traits, things like the upright posture, the shorts, the tennis shoes, the watch, the camera bag, sitting on a park bench. Those are human characteristics and human traits, but they're given to an animal, and that's not a human, okay? So giving human traits to non-human things or ideas, all right? An example of this would be, the sunlight danced. Now, did the sunlight really dance? Can the sunlight do a little bit of the two-step? No, they can't. The sunlight didn't dance. This is a very descriptive way to say the sunlight was possibly playing on the rocks, or as in like shining and fluttering its beams, or maybe on an ocean so that it looks like it's moving. But it's not really moving. It's just a very descriptive and a very nice way to say that the sunlight was moving, you know? Another one. Water on the lake shivers. So the water on the lake shivers. Can the water literally get a cold? Can it shiver like if you were cold? No. That's a human trait. But the water being moved, probably by some wind or something, just kind of moving, it looks like it's shivering, okay? So that, once again, is giving human-like characteristics or traits to a non-human, all right? One more example. The streets are calling me, all right? Now, does that mean that the streets picked up the phone book and found your number and decided to call you? The streets have a phone and they're calling? Or are they yelling at you through your window? No. That means that you desire, you yearn to go outside, to explore, to be on the streets. So the streets are very tempting. They're very powerful. They want you to go out there. They can't literally want you to, but you want to. So that's why you say the streets are calling me, okay? Hyperbole. All right? Hyperbole. I said hyperbole, excuse me. Hyperbole. You see right here, this is captain. Hyperbole. All right? What is hyperbole? Exaggerating to show strong feeling or effect. So, hyperboles can be used in a very effective manner because you know what they do? They exaggerate to show that you really feel adamantly or strong about something. And they can be really, really effective. An example of this would be, I will love you forever. So, how often have your mothers or fathers said that to you? I will love you forever. Or maybe one day, and then in the future, when you guys get married, I know, it's a distant thought. When you guys get married, you're going to say to your spouse, I will love you forever. Unfortunately, you can't love someone forever because we don't live forever as humans. We have a life expectancy, you see? But it's a very effective and nice way to capture your love for someone by saying, I will love you forever. That's figurative language at good use right there. Okay, another example. My house is 1,000,000 miles away. Now, whose house is literally 1,000,000 miles away? I know my house is pretty far. I live in Georgia, but my house is not 1,000,000 miles away, okay? That's an extreme exaggeration to get your point across. So it's saying, oh my gosh, my house is so far from here, you know? So I say it's 1,000,000 miles away. That's an extreme exaggeration to, give a certain effect, okay? If I stole from my mom, she'd kill me, all right? I don't necessarily know your parents, but I know them well enough. I can say I know them well enough to know that if you stole from your mom, she wouldn't kill you. She'd be mad at you, but killing is an extreme exaggeration to get a point across, you see? All right. Good job, people. All right, so the next one. Imagery. Imagery doesn't have as simple rules as some of the other figurative language examples, but this is probably one of the most effective figurative language tools because it gives it just helps with vividly describing things, okay? Like I said, vivid. Imagery is the vivid and descriptive language in literature that helps the reader create mental images. So you think of things that you read in a story and you're like, wow, I can see that happening. That is imagery. An example? He whiffed the aroma of the brewed coffee. Okay? So by using the words whiffed, the aroma, you see, of some brewed coffee, can't you guys you can imagine smelling brewed coffee. So say you guys just walked into Starbucks and whoa, I smell it, the whiff of this brewed coffee, okay? That's one example. All right, another example. The girl ran her hands on the soft satin fabric. You see through the words soft, and you can kind of see, you see the word satin also. You can kind of feel like, oh, I have some satin sheets at home. Oh, I can imagine how beautiful they feel. And she ran her hands through it, okay? Another example. It was dark and dim in the forest. So you see, I kind of searched for a photo that I felt described that. So this is the image that popped up in my head. A big full moon with some trees and some fog. With the use of the word dark and dim, you can kind of get a picture. I don't know. I'm thinking like I'm seeing some kind of Harry Potter or something. Things like that. All right? This is how you effectively use imagery. And you'll notice it more now as you pick up your novels and you think. You see very certain words that are very descriptive and vivid and kind of paint a picture for you. So you're thinking of having a picture painted in your mind.